All right, let's talk about something that drives so many of us completely nuts. Why, after all the sweat and all the effort you're putting in at the gym, do you sometimes just hit a wall where nothing seems to change? Well, today, we're going to uncover the hidden forces that might be sabotaging your fitness goals.
I mean, this is probably one of the most frustrating things in all of fitness, right? You're being consistent, you're pushing yourself, you are doing everything you're supposed to be doing, but the scale isn't budging, the muscles aren't growing, and you just feel stuck. What if the answer isn't about working even harder?
And that right there is the big idea we're digging into today. We get so focused on that 1 hour of exercise, but the real magic, the actual growth and change, that all happens in the other 23 hours of the day. Your recovery period, that's where your results are actually built.
Okay, so let's really get into this. First, we need to understand what exercise is actually doing to your body. You can think of it as a two-part process, and frankly, most of us only ever focus on part one.
So think about it like this. Your workout is basically the demolition phase. You're in there creating tiny, microscopic tears in your muscle fibers and burning through all your energy stores. Now, that's a good thing. It's the signal your body needs, but the growth only happens during recovery, the rebuilding phase. That's when your body repairs all that tissue, making it stronger than before, and it restocks the fuel you're going to need for the next workout. Simple as that. No rebuilding, no progress.
Now, this whole rebuilding thing, it doesn't just happen by accident. It's actually controlled by this powerful push and pull between two key hormones inside your body. It's like a constant hormonal tug of war. So, on one side of this tug of war, you've got the villain of our story, cortisol. This is your body's main stress hormone. And look, it's useful for short-term threats, but the chronic stress from work, life, and yeah, even from super intense training can keep your cortisol levels way too high for way too long.
And pulling on the other side of the rope is our hero, human growth hormone, or HGH for short. Just think of this as your body's master builder. It's the key hormone that's responsible for repairing tissue, growing muscle, and even burning fat. And here's the absolute key. These two hormones have completely opposite jobs. They're literally fighting each other. Cortisol is catabolic. That's a fancy word for breaks things down, including your hard-earned muscle. It also encourages your body to store fat. HGH, on the other hand, is anabolic. It builds things up. It repairs muscle and burns fat for energy. Your fitness results literally depend on which one of these hormones is winning the tug of war.
So, here's the problem, right? For a lot of us, our modern lifestyle, all the deadlines, the constant phone notifications, not getting enough sleep, it basically gives cortisol, the saboteur, a huge leg up in this fight. And don't just take my word for it. The scale of this problem is massive. I mean, look at the Catalyst study. It found that for almost a quarter of people who were really struggling with obesity, the root cause was hidden high cortisol levels. It's this huge, overlooked factor.
And this all feeds into this really nasty, vicious cycle. Chronic stress keeps your cortisol high. Then, high cortisol messes up your sleep. And then, because you're sleep deprived, you're more stressed and irritable the next day, which, you guessed it, raises your cortisol even more. It's a trap, and it just completely sabotages your recovery.
So if that cycle is the problem, how do we break out of it? Well, the answer is sleep. We have to start thinking about sleep differently, not as just passive downtime, but as your single most powerful anabolic tool. It's an active weapon for getting results.
You know, this quote from Polar just hits the nail on the head. Sleep is when your body gets to work. It's prime time for releasing that master builder hormone, HGH, to repair all the damage from your workout and build you back stronger. So if you're skimping on sleep, you're basically telling the construction crew to go home halfway through their shift.
And the impact here, it's not small, it is absolutely staggering. A 2011 study looked at two groups for just 3 days. The group that only got 5.5 hours of sleep a night actually lost 60% of their muscle mass, but the group that got a full 8.5 hours gained 40%. That is a 100-point swing in results, decided entirely by sleep.
And you know what? We can even pinpoint it further. It's not just any old sleep that matters most, it's that super deep, slow-wave sleep, also known as stage N3. That's when your body releases the biggest surge of HGH, and that's exactly the kind of high-quality restorative sleep that high cortisol loves to destroy.
Okay, so the big question is, how do we actually fight back? How do we break that cycle, shut down the saboteur cortisol, and empower the builder, HGH? Well, the good news is you've got control over some very, very powerful levers.
All right, let's start in the kitchen. Your diet is a huge lever you can pull. Cutting back on sugar is critical because those big insulin spikes can really interfere with HGH. And since high levels of body fat, especially around the middle, are directly linked to lower HGH production, things like intermittent fasting can be a really powerful tool to help out.
Now, what about in the gym? Well, high-intensity workouts are what give you the biggest HGH boost. But, and this is a big but, don't forget about your rest days. Instead of just sitting on the couch, gentle, active recovery, like a walk or some yoga, can help your body clean up all the waste products without adding more stress and spiking your cortisol again.
But honestly, this right here, this is the real game changer. Your recovery levers are by far the most powerful. Making 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep a non-negotiable priority is the #1 strategy, period. And you can support that by having a consistent bedtime, putting the phone and screens away before bed, and actively finding ways to manage your stress to bring those cortisol levels down.
So here's the bottom line. We have to stop thinking of sleep and stress management as, I don't know, optional extras for our fitness plan. They are not luxuries. They are the absolute foundation that all of your hard work in the gym is built on.
And that really leaves us with one final crucial question to think about. You put in the work for that 1 hour, but your results, your progress, your success, it's all going to be decided by how you manage the other 23 hours. So what are you going to do to make sure that workout actually counts?